Listen to me. Listen to me real close here. Would you like to stop watching porn? Yeah, you would. Do that then. I'm going to talk here for a little bit about something that I really am questioning whether I have the authority to talk about it or not. But anyway, I will, since, it's inevitably going to come up. It always does. That's the subject of site blockers or content blockers, stuff like that, as a strategy for quitting porn. And honestly, I can't really say one way or the other whether it's something that you need to use or not. It's kind of the default strategy when it comes to protecting children from stuff that they don't need to be seeing, stuff that nobody needs to be seeing, really. And it's kind of it extended from that purpose to be used as a strategy for people who want to quit porn themselves. I personally have never used them, and really, I can't say for sure that I wouldn't have quit porn faster if I had used them, or if it would have made me dependent on them and left me more weak-willed and had me addicted longer. I don't know which way it would have gone, or if it would have just been the same, because I just never used them. Just for a reference, I was completely addicted, almost on the daily, for around 5 years. Got serious, took a little bit less than a year after actually getting serious to quit it for good. So in all of that time, I never used site blockers. When I was younger, my parents didn't have any kind of blockers on my computer or anything, and you might say, oh, irresponsible parents, but whatever, that's how it was. I don't blame them for that at all, because even now I myself am a little skeptical of the idea, because in my mind, and there's a few different ways to think about it, but on one hand, in my mind, it's kind of like a way to avoid fighting the battle. Which, yeah, there's something to be said for that. There's something to be said for just removing the, possibility to sin altogether. Which it really doesn't, but reduce the possibility to sin altogether. There's something to be said for that. On the other hand, you do have to be able to make the decision to say no, even when you have the opportunity. You have to be able to reach that point too, and if you don't have the opportunity to say no when you actually have an option, then you're probably not going to build that kind of discipline, would be my thinking about it. On the other hand, I do say all the time, use every tool that's available to you. If you're serious, you're going to be using every tool that is available for you because you're serious, and you're going to do whatever it takes to succeed. I don't know for sure how much overlap there is, and I hate for this to just be a I don't know kind of video, but I just want to give you my perspective on this real quick, because it is something that is, probably going to come up, and always does come up, like I said. That said, I don't think that it is something that is necessary for quitting. And I feel like people resort to it and put a lot more emphasis on it than it deserves. It is possibly a very useful tool, and I would actually say likely a very useful tool the more I think about it. On the other hand, it's not as important of a tool as people make it out to be, and it gets a lot more emphasis than I feel like it should, compared to things like focusing on just pure obedience to God and making that the motivation for all of your actions, or really focusing on developing discipline and willpower, working on things in the rest of your life to develop discipline, and all this other stuff which I have talked about in other videos. You can check them out if you want to go into detail on that. Accountability, having support from other people and supporting other people while you're at it. All of those are things that I think are more important than just, a piece of software to try and maybe keep you away from certain categories of sexual impurity. Because ultimately the goal here is total sexual purity. And I quote this piece of scripture a lot. Among you, there must not be even a hint of sexual impurity. And I take that seriously. I think that is something that we all need to take seriously, and not just cut out little categories, not just try to be a little bit better. And yeah, we're probably only going to get a little bit better at a time, but don't settle, is what I'm saying. Don't say, yeah, I'm going to quit porn, and that's a lot better, so I'll just quit porn and then stop there, and the rest of it, have to deal with it. I'm still doing way better than everybody else. No, you don't stop, because God has called you to be holy. You're called to be like Christ, and that means you never settle. You never stop trying to be better. And ultimately, you want to remove all sexual impurity from your life, whether it's hardcore pornography, whether it's, really perverted stuff, whether it's softcore, whether it's, just plain nudity, or not even nudity at all, but just where there's lust involved. And that, whether it's on a screen, or whether it's in real life, or whether it's just in your head, the goal is to get it all under control and to remove every single trace of sexual impurity from your life, which, don't get me wrong, is not an easy thing to do, but that's the goal. And until you meet that goal, then the job isn't quite done. And over time it gets better. It really does. And it gets easier. Well, I don't know if I would say it gets easier, but you get stronger. So effectively, yeah, it's easier. And there are benefits to it, and your spiritual life is going to improve as there's less and less of that sin that's creating that tension between you and, the right path, between you and God, which is something I talked about in a different video. And yeah, I'm getting off base here, but getting off track, rather. But yeah, this is something that site blockers, anyway, I feel like they get a lot more attention than they need to, because they only target one specific aspect of this whole sexual impurity thing. One very specific aspect, which is pornography in particular, and then only certain sources of it. And it's not something that you should rely on. If you want to use it as a tool, great, but don't use it as a crutch. Don't use it as something to lean on. Don't use it as any kind of foundation for your strategy for quitting. So yeah, that pretty much is my view on that. Kind of had to flesh that out as I went there, make it up as I go along, but that's basically what my point of view is on that. And if yours is different, if you've had a lot of success in quitting impurity beyond just certain porn sites with a blocker, then great, that's awesome. Like I said, I don't have experience with blockers, so I can't give a really authoritative take on that. But that is my non-authoritative take, so take that for what it's worth, and hopefully it is useful to somebody. In any case, focus on the really important foundations of your strategy, and that's going to be the beginning of the path to victory there. So that about sums it up. better quit this before I start driving in circles too much here and acting weird. But anyway, y'all have a blessed day. Blessed. I don't know why I don't just say blessed. Have a blessed day, whichever you prefer, whichever version of the Bible you read. If you like this video, if you like listening to my lack of a muffler or to my voice, then check out my other videos, because I do a lot of them, and I'm doing more. I've been doing about one a day lately. Hopefully I still can, and I can continue to do that. So if you want to keep up with that, then subscribe, and I will most definitely talk to you later. So, God bless you guys. Have a wonderful porn-free day, and see you later.